This is the investigation room. The corkboard, the lamp, the cases. You have been here before. 5 cases, 5 killers, 5 resolutions. The investigator worked every one of them, methodically, thoroughly, the kind of man who finished what he started. There was one thing he didn't know. He was never running the investigation. Someone else was. This is case 006, the Bureau. Following Daniel Foy's arrest, investigators turned to the intermediary. The voice on the phone Rachel Cord never traced. The person who sourced her, scripted her, deployed her, and then disappeared. The jobs board was a shell account. The cash was untraceable. The phone number disconnected within hours of the arrest. Every lead dissolved. Until Daniel Foy, facing a murder charge with nothing left to protect, started to talk. He didn't talk about Amy. He didn't talk about the gathering. He talked about the Bureau, a private intelligence network. He had used it once before, 7 years ago, to make a business problem disappear. He knew it only as a contact, a single encrypted channel, a voice that was always different. He had no idea who ran it. He had no idea that he had been a target of it for 3 years before he became a client of it. The Bureau had been operating for 11 years. In that time, it had fed 5 cases to 1 investigator. 5 plain dark envelopes. No return address. No postmark. The investigator had received all 5. He had never questioned where they came from. Case 001. Martin Hale, Manchester. The clock that stopped at 2:48. Case 002. Raymond Cole, Bristol. The confession that couldn't be true. Case 003. Sarah Voss, the woman who disappeared twice. Case 004. Mara Solano, Harrogate, the second funeral. Case 005. Stuart Reeve, Leeds, the call. Every victim real. Every killer real. Every injustice real. The Bureau did not manufacture crimes. It surfaced them. And it used the investigator's credibility to make the evidence impossible to ignore. He was never in control. He was the face. Someone else was the architect. The architect was not a network. It was not an institution. It was not a team. It was one person. A girl. 17 years old. Who disappeared 11 years ago from a case the investigator had never heard of until Stuart Reeve's folder put her name on his board. Amy Gillis. The viewer has seen her photograph. Light brown hair, open eyes, the expression of someone who did not know what was coming. That photograph was taken 11 years ago. Amy Gillis is 28 years old now, and she has been watching the investigator for 2 years before she ever sent him the first envelope. 11 years ago, Amy Gillis attended a private gathering in rural North Yorkshire. She was not supposed to be there. She came with someone else. The gathering was private for a reason. The people present were connected, professionally, financially, institutionally. The kind of connected that protects itself. Amy saw something that night. Not an accident. Not a crime of passion. Something deliberate. Something that implicated more than one person. Something that had been ongoing. She was 17. She had no power, no connections, no institutional standing. She went to one person she trusted. That person buried it. 4 days later, Amy ran. Not because she was told to, because she understood, for the first time, exactly how the system worked, and exactly what it would do to her if she stayed inside it. For the first 2 years, Amy simply survived. Moving, working, staying invisible. In year 3, she started watching. The people from the gathering were still there, still powerful, still protected. She began documenting. In year 5, she built the first version of the Bureau, a network of people she had quietly identified who had been harmed by the same institutional machinery. People who understood how systems worked and how to work inside them without being seen. In year 8, she found the investigator. She watched him work 2 cases independently, both of which had been fed to him anonymously, though he didn't know it yet. She watched how he worked, how he thought, how he presented evidence, how people believed him. She decided he was the right instrument. 2 years later, the first envelope arrived. Case 001. The clock that stopped at 2:48. He thought it was a tip. It was an assignment. Daniel Foy was not a target Amy stumbled onto. He was the target she had been building toward for 3 years. When Daniel contacted the Bureau 7 years ago to make a business problem disappear, Amy let him. She needed him to trust the Bureau before she could use it against him. She needed him to believe that it was a tool he controlled. When he contacted it again, after Stuart Reeves said the name had come up, Amy was ready. She sourced Rachel Cord. She built the alibi architecture. She deployed every piece of it with the same precision Daniel had used against her 11 years ago. Stuart Reeves' death was not part of the plan. Stuart had been working independently. Amy had known about his search for over a year. She had watched him get closer. She had not intervened because Stuart getting close to Daniel was useful. She had not anticipated that Daniel would move as fast as he did. Stuart Reeves' death is the one thing Amy did not control. It is the one thing she carries. Investigators traced the Bureau to a flat in London on the 4th of December, 2024. Sparse. Functional. A desk, a computer, a corkboard on the wall, not unlike the investigator's own. Amy Gillis was not there. She had left before they arrived. The desk chair was still warm. The corkboard told the whole story. Every case, every victim, every killer. Laid out with the same precision the investigator had always believed was his own. It was not his own. It was hers. It had always been hers. She left one thing behind. A file. Plain, dark card, no label on the outside. The investigator opened it. Inside, 5 photographs. One for each case. Martin Hale, Raymond Cole, Sarah Voss, Mara Solano, Stuart Reeve. Every victim, every killer, all resolved. Beneath the photographs, a sixth document. Case 007. The investigator read the first page. His name was at the top. He did not move. He stood in Amy's flat, in front of Amy's board, holding a file Amy had left for him, and understood, for the first time, that he had never been the investigator. He had been the case. Amy Gillis spent 11 years making sure everyone else was found. She didn't wait to be rescued. She built the thing that did the rescuing. And then she left. She didn't wait 11 years to be found. She spent 11 years making sure everyone else was.